Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your boy Mo Crosby. As you can see by the banner, we are here to discuss Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 8. I don't remember the name. Anyways, here to anchor this episode with me today. Wait, where's me? Here to anchor this episode with me today are James and Stephanie. Hey. and Ant. Welcome,
Hey.
Ant. How's it going?
I'm on my floor. I hurt my back, and I've been here for 3 days, and no one cares. I'm just gonna lay here and talk.
Okay, well, do you need life alert? Because
a little bit.
Help! I've fallen. I can't get up. Literally the commercial for life alert.
I'll just have to make my life. I'll just telework and pass with y'all and collect jars. It'd be great.
You're just gonna roll around to get stuff. And last but not least, Kyle. Welcome, Kyle. Thanks for being here. Wow,
Good morning.
I'm super excited to see Kyle.
I decided to call my nemesis. I'm gonna disagree with him on anything he says, even if I agree with it.
This is exactly how the show is gonna go. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. What did you guys think of Discovery at the end? Like when it was done, it's all done, it's over. How does this episode leave you feeling, Anthony?
You know, man, I am drawing a blank. I don't remember what this episode was about. I need a recap real quick.
Okay.
I remember it being bland. It was some mayo. I don't remember. Mo, what happened? What was the point of this episode? Oh wait, Giorgio's medical condition. She's quantum leaping. I don't know. What else happened?
They go to Book's home planet. They meet Book's brother, Admiral Chang. What's the name? Was it Admiral Chang?
Flippa's Georgia's nemesis showed up. She's like the Orion version of her. Is that what happened? She killed her nephew, which was kind of like, expected. Yeah, I don't know. It was forgettable for me. Like, I'm honestly not even playing. When you were starting to talk, I was blanking on what happened until just now.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for that. Kyle.
I mean, yeah, it was kind of it was an okay episode. We got a little bit of Detmer development, right, with the whole piloting thing. Book is awesome still. I'm liking Book more and more as the show goes on, so that part was good, but it was a little anticlimactic. There's, a few things were a little bit like it's her biggest giant dreadnought ship, and one Book's little ship is able to like totally take it down without much of a problem. Seemed a little odd. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. There's just they still aren't developing the Federation very much for me. They feel very one note without really showing us anything. We haven't seen them struggle to protect other planets, and so I think this just complicated that for me a little bit. Where the big bad shows up and isn't all that much of a big bad, so that was a little bit of an issue for me. Like Osiris was just she wasn't very threatening. Like the performance, I didn't get a lot of. She didn't have the presence I was expecting, if I'm being honest, and so I'm not sure where the disconnect was there for me. It just didn't feel the villain didn't feel like a threat, and so that was a little bit of an issue for me.
Oh, right, the Millennium Falcon took out a Star Destroyer by itself, right? That's what happened in there, didn't it?
Pretty much.
Okay, got you.
James and Stephanie.
It was kind of a big yawn, to be honest. I don't know if I'm still just reeling from how awful last week's episode was, and I just don't care, or if this episode, like on its own, was boring. But I just was like, all right, this is a thing that I consumed.
Yeah, weirdly, I agree. Like it was a pretty boring episode. The one thing I didn't like about it that you guys haven't mentioned yet is how the brothers have different accents. I don't
we're gonna get because we're gonna get to that.
Well,
what we didn't like. I guess
but that's the highlight of how boring the episode is that the thing we're fixated on several days later is some accent.
But I think this is one thing that I kind of like the Discovery is showing me is it can't do week to week episode. It can't do what Patrick. Well, at least this season can't do like that. Gonna do
Episodic.
episodic things. So this one thing it's showing me, because this is another one of those episodic, feeling episodes where I'm like, okay, do something. Like I almost want the burn. Like I'm kind of sad I didn't hear anything about the burn or in the
For
little
sure
whisper.
I thought for sure we were gonna get the distress message in the last few minutes of the episode. I kept expecting like
one of those.
Yeah, when she's like laying down asleep at the console, I kept expecting the message to kind of pop up at the end as a little bit of a cliffhanger for the next episode.
Adira
what I
had
find more disturbing is, do I always look like a Romulan? Because I look like a Romulan right now. Have y'all not told me this? Anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Go ahead, James.
I want to say one thing I did like about the episode was, as Cal said, Detmer's development. As a pilot myself, like some of the things that she said and did were like spot on. Yes, we absolutely want backups. Someone telling us that we don't need them is the stupidest thing ever. Like
a human backup is not a backup.
So I'm guessing they put that in there for like you, right? It was like, let's talk to James for like a second. Or let's talk to all the pilots for a second. So you felt that is what you're saying. Like
planes are built with double or triple redundancy, so that if one thing goes down, the plane doesn't go down.
Right.
And so for her to say I need backups that's how flying works.
Right.
I really like it. So
I'm really mad at that person who said we don't need it, we have you. I'm like,
she was such a cowboy this episode. I don't know if I admit I loved it. It could have been the whole cowboy flying thing. It's like, oh yeah, like manual controls, and we're just gonna like, I don't know if that could have been. It felt off. It could have felt off to me because the VFX kind of didn't. I think it was the VFX. I don't know if it was her per se, but it just, that whole cowboy moment I didn't particularly love. And I like Detmer.
Yeah, I think it felt awkward on screen. I don't know if that was an acting thing or what. But I really like this, that in this very subtle, light way, they're establishing that Detmer does not trust this future, right? Like from day one, she was like, do we need all these upgrades? I've installed my own backups on these upgrades. And now I'm leaving the system entirely and I'm taking it into my own hands. Like that, I really appreciate that thread because I think it is weird that everyone drank the Kool-Aid immediately.
It's like my Asian foster mom and dishwashers. So
I just think foreigners and dishwashers, period, because I'll tell you that my Nigerian mom just
I don't trust them. I would trust them to sanitize. That's all they're good for.
Right.
You wash them first, and then
you put it in, like, by the time you're done, it's a clean.
Like David saying, one is none, two is one, three, right? So yeah, we need that triple redundancy type of thing.
I think that moment, not to like dial in too much for this really small thing, but I feel like that moment connects Discovery to other series because in many of the other shows we have that moment where the pilot goes full auto, right? Like Dax does it in DS9, Paris does it in Voyager, and it's kind of just like this little checkbox. Yeah, there's just like this little checkbox of like there was a moment where we needed humanity at the helm. And humanity just meaning like a flesh and blood creature who can react to things in a way that a computer can't.
All right,
and I just love that.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I think, like Stephanie said, let's not talk too much because it was a moment. It wasn't like a huge thing. But for someone that had go ahead.
No, there was two things on that. Like one, I think that they're trying to give her more of a 3D character. So they're trying to give her the good pilot, the excellent pilot. And so she's probably going to be the best pilot in Starfleet at this point. That's a go-to trope. I think that
I'm not mad about it.
No, it looks like they're trying to do. That's one of the ads because we didn't know much about the bridge crew. And the one thing we know was she flew the ship. So we're giving her a thing in that. The other one, have y'all noticed the fan community is trying to ship her and
Oh, I think they're just best friends.
I think they're just best friends too, but
I think they're best friends. I hope they're not. I really hope they're not doing that.
on a lot of Discovery fan pages, they're trying to ship them,
Mhm.
which I wonder where just being best friends have gone. Like you can have really close friends without being. It can even just be between a man and a woman, like
I
like
still ship
that. Like
Stucky though. I still think Stucky's a thing. I'm still
Stucky.
there. Yeah.
What's Stucky?
Oh, you
Stuckman?
serious?
No, yeah.
No,
What?
Bucky and Steve. Stucky.
Oh,
Move on.
Moving on.
we need good platonic friendships. I think
Right.
it's important for a show, and their vibe has felt very platonic to me. It's kind of
Yes,
odd people are
I
shipping
don't
them.
know why people would ship them. That they just feel like really good friends.
And I'm all being about being pansexual or bisexual, but we didn't we establish in the first season at the party they were both like interested in other people that were opposite sex. And so now that can be fluid. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I got that the flashback got
The
from
disclaimer.
the android. I forget her name. The android that died but then came back as a human from a different character. That they were like best. They were like the crew. They were like the best. The squad.
Yeah, it was three. It was three of them. Yeah.
And so I feel like if you ship them, you kind of like just it's okay. You need healthy
Friendship.
This show wants to focus on relationships a lot, and that could be the vibe. Everybody, whatever. But I think I'd rather just see them as best friends that are supportive of each other.
Again, if you're saying the show wants to focus on friendships, on relationships. A friendship is a relationship, and I think that's what the show's looking like.
Maybe I should say romantic. Romantic.
Okay.
They're focused on romantic or intimate relationships, and I really want that platonic buddy thing. I guess we got it with Tilly and Saru a little bit, like emerging this year. And I guess they're doing it with Reno and Stamets. They're trying to build that rapport. They've really forced that a lot. This season. Oh, Jared, did I say his name wrong? What did I say?
Jet. No, you got it right.
I was confused. It was not you. Sorry.
Okay, but I don't know. I would like that squad to be friends, and flesh that out more without them having to focus on them being in a relationship, because I don't want to see that story. A romantic relationship.
Facts. Moving on. Okay.
Because she was supportive of her in that. She was supportive in that scene, and she just said the wrong thing, but she was trying to be supportive.
Right. So Adira, right? They had a moment. I think for this episode we're just gonna talk moments because it's just moments, and nothing. There's really nothing to draw from for a discussion other than the moments. Adira had their moment. What did everyone think? Because I think my thing is, well, aren't we like in the what century are we in? Well, what year? Yeah, we're like super into the future. Isn't this normal at this point? Like, should they have had to tell Stamets that? Shouldn't Stamets have? Or did they have to announce that to Stamets? I'm confused. I think that's the question I'm asking.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So to me, if you ever watch, it's a pretty popular Star Trek reviewer that I was messaging, Jessie Gender. She's transgender, so these characters mean a lot to her. She's really upfront about her bias, right? She said this scene meant a lot to her. My thing is that this is the future, right? And for humanity, a good thing about Star Trek that I always liked, and I even disagree with this a little bit about Deep Space Nine when they brought up race with Cisco not wanting to go on the holodeck, is that I always liked when Osyraa in the original Star Trek, when Abraham Lincoln came and called her a colored person, everybody kind of like, he was like, or he called her a Negro or something like that, he said. And everybody's like, what? He's like, I meant no offense. Some people use a slur. I didn't mean it like that. No, we're more confused. We talked about race. We haven't thought about race in centuries. Like, I feel like I wanted to see where we get past what it matters, what bits you have or where you put your bits or anything like that. We're such a foreign concept that it's so I'm kind of torn on it. If it meant a lot to people and it gave a lot of people hope, I'm all for people getting hope, especially in these times. But I also like my Star Trek to be hopeful that we've evolved. And I think I've had an issue with this Discovery series is we've kind of forgot about the evolved human. And that's been a big thing for Star Trek for me, is that we've evolved past where, like, it shouldn't be a big announcement. I want to be called they and them. Okay, but we don't care. Hey, right.
I felt like that was Stamets' response a little bit. To me, it felt a little bit more of this kind of relationship of where she's opening up and saying, "Hey, I think I'm going for them, they, not she. I know everyone's been calling me that, but I think I want to shift." And sometimes that can be a little bit awkward to tell somebody. You keep, maybe you're like somebody pronouncing your name wrong or something, and you've let it go for a long time, and now you're like, "Hey, hold on, I really don't like that. I'd prefer this other thing instead." But I agree with you. It was very, they focused on it a lot, and I think that was for the audience. But
Okay. So I'm sorry, James and Stephanie. Did you want to chime in on this?
I mean, it's an audience grab, right? Like,
okay, all right.
It's there to soothe audience members who have been left out. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I don't mean that negatively, but it's a hook to get people emotionally connected.
Okay. Adira again. It's almost as if they're trying to make Adira like this. I mean, she was smart. They were smart on their entry into the episode, what they did, but they were really focusing in on their smarts. And how did everyone feel when Stamets, I think, was like, "Hey, they know their stuff."
I as over the top as it is, I feel like it's written very dramatically. This like gay dads adopting the NB child.
Right.
I do think that there's like, I do think it's cute and it's comforting, and like we know that Stamets and Doc want kids, and this is like a soft trial run for them, and that's cute. And like it's I don't know, like it's cute. It's cute. I think it's cute that Stamets was like, "My person knows their stuff. We'll get this done. Don't worry about it." And like there was no discussion about whether or not their person actually knew their stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little wonderkind for me a little bit. I on retrospect, like looking at like Wesley Crusher and now Adira and stuff, it's a little bit like, okay, we've got our like wonderkind. They can just do anything that they need, right? The out of the box thinker that comes up with the answer. It's a little bit odd in some ways to me that Stamets is the one that's so accepting of that, just because Stamets has been so resistant of other smart people so far.
And that's the thing I think that kind of throws me off is with every other smart person, Stamets is like, no.
Yeah, but he's got a kid now. He's got to build that kid up.
So this would work more for me if them wanting a kid thing was something that's been a thing since, even if it was the beginning of this season, if they had built that up. But they mentioned it this episode, and then I missed it. If I missed it,
when they were making the decision about whether or not to jump into the future, their family building was a part of that conversation, wasn't it?
Oh, okay, it could have been.
It certainly wasn't like this huge like thing, right. But they have like dropped it.
Okay, then I'm sorry, I just missed it.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, it's great Kyle pointed that out because I'm getting a real Wesley vibe from her. From them. From them. I am not trying to be a dick. I just went.
No, I kind of blame the show because they ran it for a minute, and then it's now like, oh, well, here it is.
I wonder if that was and also I think that they said that they wanted to say this for a while and never told anybody. Again, that makes me think there's a stigma somewhere, right? Or there's a social pressure. But because at first I was like, well, maybe the joining has told them they want to be called, because your personality should change some with the joining. Yeah. But they said they wanted to do that for a while. But yeah, I need them to have a better character than what they are identifying as, and their relationship, and that they're really smart. So now we've gotten this out the way. This was the moment the writers wanted to write. Now I want them to have a personality, pretty much, and I don't think I've gotten that yet. And this could be me. I don't want any character relationship just to be about their relationship. I mean, their character just to be about their relationship and what bits they have or don't have or identify or don't identify. Because I didn't feel like take Geordi, for example. I feel like Geordi was a character eventually and not black. And I don't like using the word disabled, but I'm going to say it now, disabled. Like, I don't think that was Geordi's character. Those were just attributes that contribute to the whole of Geordi. I don't think Omar Little was just gay. right? You know, like there was more to that character than where he put his bits, and that's what I hope for this character, and I hope that people
Sorry, that phrase is.
Seriously,
You're saying really good, important stuff, but putting bits really is not.
It's just throwing it off. Honestly,
okay. Well, I'm trying. There's kids in the house. So have you noticed I haven't cussed a lot? So it's good. I just hope that they can get past that now, so that the writers can get past that for them, so they can actually have a character now. And I need them to mess up now, or have a flaw, or have something that they're like. I don't want any more perfect characters that just represent somebody in a checkbox. I'm from whatever walk of life that is, and that's my fear, because I'm getting a Wesley vibe. At least Wesley messed up at times.
I mean, to be fair though, like somebody with a Trill symbiont is the only justified Wonderkin, right? Like there are decades of information in that little brain.
But look at Dax. Dax was immature at times, impulsive, like with all the combination of intelligence and abilities and knowledge came a lot of flaws from like Curzon and the others, and then
but none of them were knowledge based. None of Dax's flaws were knowledge based.
I am agreeing with that, and so I'm not saying.
So when you're saying you need them to fuck up, you're not saying like in terms of like, you know, being smart. You just need them to not be perfect.
Not all. Oh, but no, I do think Stamets is about to get himself out of a job to keep putting more engineers and stuff in the section.
Stamets is about to be bad.
He's the only one that can activate the spore drive, though.
Yeah, he's a breathing star chart. The poor man anymore.
That's his only use on the
That's
show.
only function at this point.
What are the moment? Saru trying to come up with his thing.
His catchphrase. I thought it was funny. I mean, it felt self-referential comedy for Star Trek to me, right? Like they all have their thing, and they just acknowledge that, and that Saru hasn't had one yet. So
it was kind of funny because at the end of the episode, and it's like execute. You know, it's like he's trying to come up and he's trying to make something stick. I enjoyed that bit from Saru. I also enjoyed Saru in terms of the fact that he made a decision outside of the Admiral. I thought, yes, finally, maybe because maybe no one like thought that was a thing, but I thought it was a thing because I complained, I think a couple weeks ago, like how he's just kind of spineless, and you guys were like, well, he just lost his ganglia, you know, he's trying to figure himself out.
You don't like that he's by the book.
Spineless. Anybody else have anything to say on Saru, or that's it and we're moving on?
I didn't like how his whole crew was like, but the Admiral said you weren't there. Your orders come from the captain. Like,
I think it was meant to address. They said that foremost point. I think that Saru is going to do things that he thinks are correct or in the code of the Federation, regardless of what the Admiral has said, which was good for Saru, but also, like I said, complicated for me again that the Federation is very one-noted in the future. And yeah, but it was a good Saru moment.
Right.
Yeah, I like the Saru moment. I agreed. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just agreeing with James.
I agree with saying I love the Saru moment, but his crew saying, "What about the Admiral?" Like, can you imagine him saying that to Cisco?
Right? Would be like, excuse, I'm sorry. Do you want to call them for me? Do you want to check?
Like, you just got a name this season. You better.
Captain that would have stood for that. Like,
no. My other problem is why is Michael Burnham talking with Saru and the Admiral? That should have been Tilly. You want to make Tilly XO like that? If anybody should have been there, it should have been like just Tilly and Saru, right? There's no reason for Mike to be doing this.
One thing about Tilly is, again, I think they made a point of doing this in the previously part. It's a internship. It's a trial run. I mean, I think that's what he said, right? It's a trial.
Temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary. It's not a thing.
Acting XO.
So,
right. But still, Michael shouldn't be in that Admiral. That's not her role. And my other thing is I do love the run. Like I think they're purposely doing running jokes, like running through jokes throughout a running joke throughout the like different episodes, like the teleporting Linus thing, and now
the shedding cabinet.
Yeah, the shedding, the catchphrase, the thing like that. So I like that. That's like classic Star Wars, not the Star Wars, classic Star Trek. Yeah, I'm messing it all up. I'm seeing he, them, she, Star Trek. I'm about to say some Harry Potter stuff. But I think that was great. But yeah, I like that Sorrow moment. But I think again, this crew works better with Michael Burnham's not there. Like it just clicks better for me.
Did they do anything without Michael Burnham? Like what? Okay, so we're getting to Michael Burnham, her moments or thing on the show.
What moments?
I do enjoy that, the last moment she had at the end of the episode where she turns to Book and goes, I did enjoy going to your planet, seeing your planet. I think that's a thing, it felt kind of cool and corny when, he felt the pressure of, oh, wait, I'm bringing my girlfriend home to meet my people. It's like, I wonder what they're going to think or how they're going to, I think that was kind of cool, but it was corny. But Michael assuring him that, it's okay. I'm fine with seeing your planet and what it looks like. I think it's going to be beautiful regardless. It's that thing. Michael, I don't think anything to me important happened on the planet enough for me to care. This is the first Michael Burnham episode where I'm like, oh, well, you could have just...
We're converting you slowly but surely.
No, you're not. You could have taken this...
She's in places she don't need to be. She's in
places she don't need to be. I'm just saying you could have taken this portion of the episode out and it still would have been okay. I think, but again, I think it's a problem of the entire episode where it just all pieces that didn't really fit and just are awkward to me. So that planet thing was cool. It could have been on a different show or scenario. I think it would have been better, but it didn't fit. I think they were trying to show the consequences of them, doing the little run a couple episodes ago, and that's here we are on a planet with Michael Burnham and her boyfriend.
So I've got a minor critique about how that played out at the end with the planet. They talked about how they'd had this problem they couldn't find a solution for 100 years. And to me, it felt very simple for them to say, hey, here's the thing. If you were part of the Federation, we actually have a solution for you. That our strength comes from our variety of knowledge. We have a solution from this other world. Let us use that to help you. It still solves the problem that's 100 years old, but it's not Michael's brilliance or the individual brilliance of a particular crew member of the Discovery. It's the strength of the diversity and the breadth of knowledge that the Federation brings and their willingness to share that with others. And I felt like that would have been a great moment to do that and would have brought Book on board more than like Michael or someone else having a solution. So it felt like a big missed opportunity.
Which is what it should be. It should be the collection of knowledge and planets and cultures, because they're making it like that was an issue that they were so inclusive that it collapsed. And I think that's not the message I want from Star Trek. Right, I want the fact that we include more cultures, we include more knowledge, that science will be our way out. It's not just the individual. It's the individual is important, but it's not just the individual. And it was even, I thought they were going that route, because when Michael said, well, it's two of y'all, and he was kind of like, bitch, we got people on this planet. Like, you think if that was the issue, that we had to work together, we could have done this already. But then it's
two dudes.
It's like,
wait. So, okay, now that's the other thing. I'm sorry, James and Stephanie, because you guys will get to go. But are there only 2 empaths on the entire planet? Is that the point of what we're trying to prove? Like, it's a whole entire planet of books, and it's just Book and his brother, and that's it.
But that wasn't the focus of this episode. This was a throwaway episode so they could do the reveal of gender, like they, them pronouns. That's what it seems like to me, because they didn't put a lot of writing in the other episode at all.
Well, I think we were supposed to be threatened by Osiris, and for me, that part fell flat, which is why we don't remember it.
That then. Okay, James and Stephanie.
I
do you remember? No, it's just Michael, like in like that part of the show, the planet.
I'm not confused.
Oh, I thought I heard you
I was asking
remember.
my husband if he wanted to talk first.
Oh,
He said no.
I was like, woo.
What's that from?
Anyway, love you, Bo. I feel like when Ant started talking, it kind of helped me formulate why I didn't care about this episode. Last week, we talked about if there aren't ramifications from this terrible message, I'm going to be upset. And what happened this episode is that nothing that happened last episode mattered. Michael Burnham's demotion did not impact the way she moved in this episode. And that is dumb. What is the point of demoting her if it doesn't change anything? A chief science officer stays on the ship. There was no reason for, as we've already acknowledged, like Michael Burnham going forward was dumb, and it cheapens the weight of the demotion last episode. Because functionally, Michael Burnham performed the exact same function this episode as she has all of the other ones. And I agree that Osiris is not threatening. Like, that actress did not deliver. She was like a petulant child, not a warlord. I didn't care about her. I did not. It didn't. There was no weight behind it. I don't care.
Did she? I'm sorry, James.
Go ahead.
Did she feel like her nephew? Like, I just felt like they felt like the same person. Like
just longer hair.
Yeah, very, very like interchangeable. Like, they didn't feel, when she threatened or she made she was insinuating that she was gonna kill him. I was like, well, this is like the worst killing scene ever. Like, this is not even like I am actually terrified. I'm still more terrified or scared of Giorgio than Osiris. Like, speaking of Giorgio.
Oh, God.
Wait, hold the train.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You didn't see what he was saying until afterwards. With sound hit ahead, I paused. It's cool. James, take your turn.
I was just gonna say, to add to that, I also wasn't moved by the plot point of the Andorian is the only one that knows that they're running out of dilithium.
Everyone knows that they're running out of dilithium.
Everyone is running out of dilithium. It's a thing.
Well, no, it was the chain, right? Because the chain supposedly has a monopoly on it, and that's their source of power. And the chain no longer has any dilithium to lord over everyone else, right? That's the chain's power.
They said the whole quadrant was running out before the bird. They said they were running low. Like, they made a point to say that. So you assume everybody's running out. You assume everybody has finite sources. That's what I would have assumed. Like, this isn't big knowledge, right? And my also thought was you wasted budget on hypno slugs or whatever to kill the nephew, which wasn't terrifying to me. And you could have showed me Vulcan last episode. You could use that. You could use that budget on those slugs, the transworms, to give me some more Vulcan, so I can go down the planet that we've known about since the beginning to see how it might have changed. No, you got me some transworms. You remember, that reminded me of that Rogue One slug never came up again. That's gonna remember that slug that messed up the guy's pilot's mind. I thought we were gonna get a crazy pilot. See, I don't even remember because it was a dumbass point.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
It was a dumbass point there.
Are you mad at us? Or are you mad at?
If you gesticulate much harder, you're gonna throw your back out of it.
You hate slugs? Like, what's really good?
No, I was like all the way. You know what's more terrifying to me?
That slug, he'd be offended.
But you know what's terrifying for me? A classic Trek. They described why disruptors are where Federation didn't use disruptors because it slowly burns you away by atoms, so you die painfully. While phasers just like phase you out. I guess I don't know, but that's a painful way to die. This slug thing just seems like a wasteful thing to try to power up, and I just used a lot of words to say what y'all said. She wasn't in.
Yeah, lay down.
A lot of words.
Well, I was just going to add to it. Like, I don't really feel like we have a lot of reason to fear the Emerald Chain right now. Like, they're running out of dilithium. That's dropped on us in this episode. And they're going to come after the Federation now. Like, what
But they have been, right? That was the Admiral's point. That's what's so weird to me about this. We haven't seen any of these conflicts. I don't know. I'm with you, James.
Bookship took out this threatening leadership. Like, so
Yeah, like at this point, are you really, really scared of Osiris? Because if Book's little baby ship could do that, then
His baby transformer ship, that thing does everything. It's amazing. That ship carries whatever you need to carry, blows up whatever you need to blow up. It can change shape. What does that ship not do?
Yeah,
It doesn't have a dog.
Has a cat.
No Porthos.
It can't ride the Mastilo.
Oh, the best Star Trek character ever.
Calm down.
No, I will not. Look, have you guys seen Mira Porthos? The most adorable dog ever. I'll send a picture.
I think you are confused again. That we are not confused. We are just unmoved.
I'll send a picture. It's okay. I need you guys to feel what I'm feeling, so I'll send a picture. Is there anything else that we've missed that we want to talk about, or is that just Discovery for this week?
Tilly's character change was abrupt for me.
Is she becoming Killy?
She had the best moment in this episode.
Is she becoming Killy?
Right, but so
say that again.
This is my thing. I'm not a Tilly hater. This is my thing. She went from stammering until last episode to like not stammering at all to like not having, like, she had a complete character flip in this, or she leveled up. She had a sunstone and leveled up to our next level Pokemon, like just in between episodes, and it was kind of like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. Even if we don't think it's justified, the writers can make it so it's justified and it works out. So I get it, but it was just kind of like, it was noticeable to me.
I mean, Tilly's always been sassy and snarky, right? Like from season 1, she has those comments at the ready. She just used to say them under her breath, and now she's like saying them out loud. And I like that progression, especially because she's in that room with Saru, and she knows that Saru isn't going to chide her in front of this person, right? Like she knows she's going to get away with it, at least in the moment. I loved it. That was the best moment in the episode for me, when she was like, oh no, try again. Like, I've already been dealing with you all day. I've told you what to expect. Sit your blue butt down.
As someone who's worked with promoting people to management positions and whatever, I've seen that kind of change pretty quickly. People go from questioning things because they're trying to figure out how to please their boss to now being a boss and not needing to question as much. At least not question as much in the moment. So that change actually felt pretty natural to me, but I could see where it might feel unnatural. I don't know.
Your majestic beard gives weight to your argument, so I'm going to concede this.
and I don't know. I one thing I'm trying not to do with Discovery is assume time passage. I don't know. Are we seeing a week has passed? Are we seeing a couple weeks? Because I'm not going to assume any time has passed. But if we're going to assume that it's been more than just the 1 week, yes, that's natural. Where she's kind of coming into it. So I can give it to her. It's not out of the norm.
And when people have your confidence in you, I guess that is true. Like Saru, who she respects, has confidence in her. He's backing her, and she's kind of like, she did do the role of saying, no, this is what the captain says. So I do like that. I don't want her to be a perfect commander off the bat, right? I want her to just have some stumbles and some questions, like not. How can I say this right? I don't want her to fail. I don't want to say that. So I don't want to come off like I'm saying I want her to fail.
You want to see growth.
I want to see growth. Right.
Yeah.
I think the writers are probably gunning for, in this episode, making us see, this is an appropriate decision. And then maybe in the next episode or a couple episodes down the road, they'll do that. Have her stumble a bit. I don't think they're above it, but
right. Last but not least,
with Michael, but
Giorgio dying.
Yeah, Giorgio was interesting this round.
Oh, you care. You haven't cared about Giorgio at all, ever.
When she's dying, yes, my ears are perked. I am now interested. I will say it's a little tired, this this fear of weakness this I'm gonna kill you the moment you know that I'm not perfect. I didn't care for how over the top that was this episode, but I did like the playground for the medical staff to develop a little bit and us to see medical technology a little bit more. I did appreciate that. Yeah, I thought I had more to say about that, but I guess I don't.
So I've got a couple thoughts on this real quick. I feel like Giorgio, for the most part, has felt tacked on, not really had a role at all this season. And I think it was getting old. For me, actually, excuse me, the acting was really important. I felt like she was tired of presenting it, but the character didn't know of another way to really interact. And I felt like the performance pulled that off for me. I felt like the character was trapped and lost and afraid, and it was making those quips without any real feeling or menace, because it's all she knew how to do. And to me, it actually worked. It was one of the few things where I kind of feel like the trajectory of her dying isn't really interesting to me right now, but I felt like the performance pulled it off, and I finally saw some development of the character where she was more than just the supremely confident menace. And I thought that was interesting. There was some nuance, I think, to the performance that I enjoyed.
Yeah, I especially now that you like put words around that, like I've dealt with clients who are in the exact same mind frame of like, I'm gonna lash out at you constantly because I'm terrified and this is how I cope, but I don't mean it. Like they're all weightless. And even like having Doc confirm like you're terrified, and I know that you're terrified because my sensors are telling me you're terrified. So you can say all the words you want, but I know what's actually happening, and you can't hide that from me.
Yes, I did. More than her, I did like how Colbert reacted to a lot of it. Did I cut somebody off? I'm sorry if I cut
No. Aunt sent a message.
No. Oh, okay.
So, again, this is my nitpick. They're not going to do it. I was hoping the doctor would have to take a back seat to an expert in this timeline a little bit because, again, 1,000 years behind in knowledge. You're not catching up in 3 weeks, or 4 weeks or whatever.
But
so
you're assuming time is what you're doing.
They gave a timeline episode or so ago that 3 weeks to get the ship up to date since they got the Starfleet, right? So even if you said this is 2 months, it's still 1,000 years of knowledge.
That's true. They did really harp the like innovation of this technology. Like you don't have that yet, right? Like doctors have to go to school for like 15 years.
Yeah, like there just should be something about how and every aspect of the crew should have to be. That's what they really should have integrated. They should have integrated other a way to get new officers and like new cast members into this would have been to integrate people from this timeline into the Discovery crew.
It's actually really odd that they haven't.
Huh?
I'm agreeing with you. It's really odd they haven't. Like, why is there not a contemporaneous person that's there to be part of their crew? It feels really odd.
Especially because the Admiral doesn't trust Discovery. Like, okay, put people on Discovery so that the Admiral knows what's actually happening out in the field.
And you're saying this is the most valuable ship they'll have now, right? So it would just make more sense to me. Yeah, I agree. We've all dealt with clients. That's their defense mechanism is to kind of lash out and things like that. But I think though, if all you make her character is quippy and like that's good at moments, but I feel like I know what's going to happen every time I see her character. She's going to make a veiled threat against other characters, or that I just need the writer to be a little bit more. She's pretty much Spike in the Scooby Gang after he got the chip. Did anybody watch Buffy? They got the chip after he joined the Buffy crew. Like, you knew Spike was going to make a comment, but it wasn't long scenes of his making comments every. You know what I mean? There was more depth to his snarky comments than just I'm gonna make a comment.
There was a moment. So after she steals whatever the chip, whatever, and she like mutters under her breath like Michael, and then her scene gets interrupted. Was that her like being worried about Michael? Was that her?
Yeah,
I think the person
like, handling that spirit, but then never doing anything with it.
I think the person she's killing in the flashback is Michael, like Michael's counterpart. I think that's Michael she's killing. Because everything has to lead back to Michael. I sound so bitter, but I'll be really surprised if it's not. And whatever.
When we watched that Mirror episode, she did end up killing Michael's character, Mirror Michael, because Mirror Michael went with my guy Gabriel over her, and so she felt betrayed.
We saw Mirror Michael be killed.
No, we never saw Mirror Michael because she killed. Mirror Michael is dead because Mirror Michael went with Lorca against her when Lorca decided to revolt.
I thought the flashback was her killing her mother, right? Because they've made a couple quips or references to that. Right.
What if Michael is her mother? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I think it's her mother in that, but she seems traumatized enough that maybe a lot of her persona we're going to find this kind of like deep-rooted trauma or event that is driving a lot of it, which would be interesting to me. But I'm hoping we're done with the quips a little bit. I'm hoping that this episode was kind of like with the last gasp of like, I'm doing it out of habit. Maybe we move on, but we'll see.
You know what I love, and they're not going to do it? I would love if it was Hoshi, and Hoshi was like her grandmother, and that's who she killed, because Hoshi, mirror person, became
Empress. She was the first Empress.
Right. I would love it if they brought.
What a deep cut! I am here for that.
Right. I would love it. Bring her back. I don't know what she's doing. Pay whatever she wants. Pay her to bring her back, and let us get some Emperor. Oh my gosh, Hoshi! I love Hoshi. And who's the pilot in Enterprise? I ship him so much. What is it? Black guy. Family was pilots, shippers. Enterprise is your thing.
Listen, I'm not good with it. Let's not do this.
You had one job, Mo. I'm going back to sleep. You had one job.
I'm not good with names.
Anyway, I would love if it was Hoshi. I would love if it was Hoshi. Travis. I shipped him so hard. And then Mirrorverses got together. So I would love if it was Hoshi. That would be freaking awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Are you looking up Hoshi right now? You looking at pictures of
Hoshi? No. That's not what she's looking at.
Sorry, our rabbits are adorable.
Yeah. All right, great. I think we've covered everything.
I mean, we talked more than the show had plot, so yeah.
Yeah, because it was when I sat down and I was thinking, how do I do this one? Because I every episode of Discovery, I always sit back and plan out how we're gonna do the show. I figured, man, we're just gonna talk points and bring characters up and what they did and how they interacted and what they went through, as opposed to trying to talk the plot of the episode, because the plot of the episode is pretty shitty. Thank you guys for this week. We will be back next week to talk more Discovery. Hopefully, look, this is week 2 on the counter. Week 1 on the counter of will there be ramifications for last week's episode?
The answer was no.
Okay, this is the counter is week 1. We're going. We have about 5 more weeks for episode 8. Yeah, we have about 5 more weeks left.
We got 5 more weeks. I'm gonna have to start drinking earlier.
We have about 5 more weeks left. No, you're gonna keep falling, Anthony. You can't.
I'll be here next week.
All right. Thank you, James. Thank you, Stephanie.
Will you be in the exact same spot?
Yeah, probably.
Weird.
Little flies. Some like fast food containers around you.
A box of pizza. Just
like, why won't they help me? Mo's just sending streaming Discovery to the laptop every day. But he plays the Enterprise intro over top of it.
Oh man. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, James and Stephanie. And appreciate everything. And we will see you guys next week for more Star Trek Discovery. Wait, is somebody chat?